Oh, camera's rolling. Okay, sorry. I was getting into the music there. So it's March 28th, 2012, and this week has a lot of crazy news. So let's just go straight to it. First things first. They went over the card frame thing. They analyzed everything. So check it out right here. You see this guy? He is Aqua Seneschal. Yeah, that's his name. He's a water creature, whatever. We're not going to talk about his effect yet. We're going to just go over the frame or whatever. So if you look at it, the cost is the same or whatever, but they have a new name for it now. It's called level. So it's the card's level. So now you don't have to say I'm gonna play this 3-cost 3-drop creature. You could just say I'm gonna play this level 3 creature. It's you kind of have to get used to it, but anyways, that's the official name if you want to be cool. Aside from that, everything else is the same. I mean, like the name's on the top, the race is right under it. You have the card art. You even have like the way to differentiate between the creatures and the spells, because the spells have like the rounded border that you'll see later because they showed a new spell or old spell, but whatever. And then they have the effect and they have the power and yada yada yada. They just don't have the one on the bottom of the card that shows how much mana it provides, which that still isn't answered, but I think it's gonna work the same way. We could all agree on that. So. The only thing they really changed with the effect is that they pretty much gave like every single effect like a name. Like Razorkinder's is grab and stab and it does this, and Aqua Seneschal's is Choten's advisor, which whenever he attacks you draw a card. So I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna be like like a common ability that a lot of creatures could have, or it's just their like unique name that it has for it, which. I don't. It's kind of pointless if you ask me, but maybe it's going to be spread out to a lot of different creatures. So who knows? So let's just go over this card right here. This is Aqua Seneschal. He is a common, and he is a Cyberlord. So now remember last week I saw this card art or whatever, and I was like, first thing I thought, I was like, maybe this is a Cyberlord. This is just a water Cyberlord, and you know what? It is a Cyberlord. Now what I thought afterthought, I was like. It can't be a Cyberlord. Cyberlords are like those little tiny baby-shaped alien things. But it turns out that it's a Cyberlord, when I thought it could have been like a liquid people, because he's shaped like a human. Now, here's another thing that's important. Look at his name, Aqua Seneschal. What do you think when you think of a card name that has Aqua in its name? Yeah, those are liquid people cards in the original game. So what I think what happened is they solved the problem that the original card game had, the Japanese card game, that is. So in the Japanese card game, after the English sets were done, they realized that liquid people aren't supposed to be drawing cards. They have a totally different kind of strategy to them. Cyberlords are the ones that want you to recycle your hand and stuff like that, like Marinomancer and stuff like that. And they came out with other cards later that do the same thing as Hulkus, like Kurion and Gaga. I don't remember his name, but it's a light card that's also a Cyberlord, and it does the same thing. So what I think is going on here is they're solving the problem, and they're completely deleting liquid people from the game, and Cyberlords are like the new liquid people. Which, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. So now we don't have those little, baby-looking things. But then again, maybe those Cyberlords from the original game are going to become the liquid people. Because some of them... they do look like liquid people or whatever, but then again, some of the liquid people do too, and that's the point. But anyways, either they swapped, or I think Cyberlord just erased liquid people, which I think makes a lot more sense. So that's what they did. As for the card effect, it's okay. I mean, you attack, you draw a card. I'd rather just draw right away, so I'm like guaranteed to draw a card like Hulkus does. I mean, I guess it's fine in an aggressive deck, an aggro deck, but it's a weak card, so I don't see it getting much draw power from it, because it'll probably die pretty quick. Anyway, so it's an okay card. So now we're going to go to a spell that they released, and guess what? It's Tornado Flame. Wait a second here. Look at the card art. Doesn't that look familiar? Yes, it's Cyclone Panic from the original game, and it was like a hand, like you draw cards, discard cards, or something like that. Well, it turns out that Tornado Flame's new card art is Cyclone Panic. Now, a lot of people have been saying that this is a mistake, And you know what? It isn't. I don't think it's a mistake at all. If you look at the bottom of the card, it says the illustrator is the same illustrator slash artist, whatever, as the original Cyclone Panic. And to be honest, I think it makes a lot more sense. You want to see the original Tornado Flame? This is the original Tornado Flame. Does that look anything like a Tornado Flame? I don't think so. It looks like molten magma or whatever, and then like a random blue thing here and a face. So, you know what? I think it makes a lot more sense. Look at Cyclone Panic's art. It's like a tornado and it's on fire, which makes more sense. So, that's pretty definitely its new card art. Now, I will confuse the old players because they'll be like, okay, I played Tornado Flame. No, that is Cyclone Panic. Did you read the card? It says Tornado Flame. Oh, okay, my mistake. Yeah, anyways, yeah, but whatever. So if you go into the card effect of it, it's very, very similar to Tornado Flame, but it's actually a little bit better. So it's also a shield trigger. Wait, but no, it's not called shield trigger. Guess what the new name for it is now? Shield Blast. Whoa! Crazy. At least it's one less syllable to pronounce. It's like blast instead of trigger, but whatever. Shield Blast. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But another really cool thing though is if you look at the original card art, or the card, whatever, shield trigger, the only way you knew that this was a shield trigger is if you looked all the way down here. Oh, there's this little symbol here that says shield trigger. Okay, check out the new card art. It has, right under the level of the card, it has, you know, the civilization, and then it has a little symbol for Shield Blast, which is the symbol, and it's just a lot more easier to tell, because, like, you draw your shield, and let's say a beginner or whatever. A beginner would be like, okay, let's see what this shield is. It's a shield trigger. That's what they do with the original cards. But with the new cards, you could easily tell right under the level, like right around here, oh, okay, it's a shield trigger. I use it. Or not, but whatever. Shield Blast, I mean, sorry. But it's a little bit better now because you get to destroy a creature with 5,000 or less, which makes a lot more sense because in the original game, Crimson Hammer was a level 2, and you got to kill a 2,000 creature. So it's only fair that if you're doing 2 for 2,000, that you should do 5 for 5,000. So it's a lot fair, and it's a bit better. Now, another thing to note, it doesn't say destroy on the card, it says banish. So, Tornado Flame is destroy. Tornado Flame in the new game is banish. Guess what that means? Banish is the new word for destroy. A lot of people got that right. A lot of people assumed that. But then there was also a lot of people who thought that it was removed from play, which was also quite a possibility. So banish equals destroy. So that's finally done. So that's it for Tornado Flame. Oh, by the way, it's a rare, just like the original. No, wait, no, I lied. No, the original is an uncommon. Sorry. But it's a rare in here. They also showed Rumblingpterosaur. A little bit more detail, not that much. We already knew Rumblingpterosaur is in it, but we know a little bit more, and I'm kind of disappointed. And I'm sure a lot of people are too, because the original Rumblingpterohorn card was pretty much a dimension gate in a creature, and it had 2,000 power, and it was really good. But now, you know what the card is now? It's a Trihorn Shepherd. Look at this guy. It's a walking carpet with horns. So you know what they did? They said, okay, Rumblingpterosaur, awesome. He looks cool. Let's get this ugly looking thing out of the way, and we're going to change the card to Rumblingpterosaur. And also, they're not Horned Beasts anymore, they're Tuskers. Tuskers. I guess it's not a bad name, it's just Horned Beasts. It makes sense. I guess they want to stay away from the... Actually, no, that's a lie. I was going to say they're going to stay away from the beast name, but Tatsurion is a beastkin. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just dropped Trihorn Shepherd. Where he belongs, on the ground. Anyways, so that's really disappointing. So that's it for Rumblingpterosaur. Now, on Monday, they actually gave us a sneak peek on the Facebook page of what Razorkinder does and what his power is and stuff like that. We already saw his effect, but we now know his power. He's power 4,000. And that's not bad. It's not bad at all. So let's just go over his effect right now. So his effect is grab and stab. And we all know this already, but when he enters the battle zone, you banish a target untapped enemy creature. So it's a Death Smoke in a creature. So in the original game, Death Smoke cost 4. So really, this card is pretty much a Death Smoke and then a 3-cost creature with 4,000 power, which is, not bad. The only downside is that it's a Death Smoke effect, and Death Smoke isn't the best card ever, because you have to kill an untapped enemy creature. So, since this deck is going to be going against the Tatsurion deck with the battle decks, it probably won't work out too well, because look at Tatsurion's effect. He has Fury Charge, and he can attack creatures right when he gets onto the battle zone. So then you summon Razorkinder, and you're like, oh no, he's tapped! So, it's not really good against aggressive decks. It's good against other control decks, obviously. You can get rid of their blockers, or a creature that they summon last turn, like Bull Medius or whatever. It's like, oh, nope, he's dead. But yeah, it's, once again, an okay card. Now, that's it for the new cards they showed off. But with this, we now can pretty much safely say, and also thanks to KARick88 for this also, he, shared his thoughts on what's going on with, like, the game or whatever, and this makes a lot of sense. So, here's what's going to happen. The Tatsurion deck is going to be a 40-card deck of Fire and Nature, and the Razorkinder one is going to be Darkness and Water. And we can assume this right away because we haven't seen any light cards yet. So, obviously, if they're not going to show us light cards, there's a pretty high chance that it's not going to be in the decks themselves, the Tatsurion versus Razorkinder decks. So that's awesome. So we get water. That's awesome. Water in a starter, not starter deck, but whatever battle decks. So that's really cool. Now, if you look at the bottom of the card next to the illustrator of the card, they have like their set name and number or whatever. So obviously Razorkinder and Tatsurion, they're S1 and S2, like the special cards. But if you look at Aqua Senechal's art, he is number 1 of 43. So there's 43 unique cards, and then you add Tatsurion and Razorkinder, there's 45 unique cards in this battle deck thing. So that's pretty cool. But there's a little bit of confusion, because if you look at the name, it says 1 TVR. So we know TVR is Tatsurion versus Razorkinder, but what the heck does number 1 mean? To me, it only makes sense that it's like the first set of theme decks or something like that. Because there's absolutely no way that this is the first like booster pack expansion, because there's only 45 unique cards. Usually a beginning expansion starts off with at least like 100 cards. So what I think is going to happen is we can pretty much safely say that the release date of the entire game absolutely for sure is June 26, 2012. So mark that on your calendars, because I don't think there's going to be anything that comes out before it. Like, I read it over again and stuff like that, and they pretty much said, okay, it's coming out in summer, limited edition, get it while it's hot, because it's going to go away fast, and it's going to be June 26, 2012. So happy birthday, Earth Power, because his birthday is like right after that. They're going to have a Kaijudo party, which is cool. Anyways, that was a little tangent there, but yeah, that's pretty much all I could say. We don't know anything about a booster pack yet, and I don't think we're going to see anything about it in a very long time. Now, one more last thing before I go. I know this is a really long video right now, but there's a lot to talk about. So, back to the buddy icons. They finally finished all the buddy icons. There's no more question marks. They gave us the 2 last ones, also original card arts. We have Venom Worm and Launcher Locust. Okay, the original card name is Launch Locust, but it's close enough. I'll give you that. Launcher Locust is okay, whatever. So the original cards for those are meh, okay-ish as well. I mean, like Venom Worm, I think you could tap him to have a certain race have Slayer for the turn, which is cool, I guess. And Launcher Locust, I don't remember what it does, but I know it's a level 3 and it gains power after something happens, or I really don't remember, but it's whatever. Now, also, there's a couple new things as well, because they updated the file names of the original ones, which K.A. Rick also mentioned, so thank you for that. So I looked that over, and let's start with Gigaflame. They didn't completely get rid of Gigaflame, but they did change it to Gillaflame. Now I wonder if they're watching my videos because they might have watched my video and be like, oh, okay, whoops, let's change this up a bit so we don't confuse people. I highly doubt that's the case, but if it is, good job, Wizards of the Coast. So Gigaflame is now Gillaflame, which makes a lot more sense because Gila is like a reptile-ish, dinosaur-ish kind of name, which makes sense because it kind of looks like a reptile thing. So yeah, but it's not Power Fighter Magnus, but it's Gillaflame, which I guess is a lot better. Mara-Ooze, it got its spelling changed back to what it really is, which is just a minor thing, but whatever. Now, this one was a big change. Something Ghost. Remember that from last week? That was like, what? Something Ghost? That's a little weird. So it's not Back Doctor, because that's what its original card name is, but they changed it to Ghost Spy. I don't know. I guess that's fine. I still don't see how it's a spy. It's clearly like a bat, and it's mummified. I mean, I would have just called it Ghost Bats or something, but Ghost Spy, whatever. That's what it is now, anyways. So that's pretty much it. Other than talking about the nature civilization, yeah, I forgot to mention that. They talked a bit about the nature civilization. You know, last 2 weeks ago was darkness civilization. Now it's nature. I thought it was gonna be light, but I was way off because they haven't showed a single light thing this whole time. So that's gonna be 2 weeks from now. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this week. Next week, it's gonna be another like show news week, just like last week. So don't expect too much next week. But we will see a nature creature, I hope, because on the page there's no like nature creature except for Tatsurion, which we don't know yet because Tatsurion looks like a fire creature on the card because there's no way to tell that it's part nature, even though it has like a race of a nature creature. So we might see a new nature creature next week, but I don't know. It's probably gonna be like Rumblingpterosaur or something. But probably not because you know the TV show. It's supposed to be new creatures because they each have a new creature that they bring to the table, or whatever. But maybe they might not show that because next week they say that they're gonna say who plays Razorkinder on the show, and what I think it's gonna be is gonna be the villain of the show because it's evil or whatever. While the girl Allie or whatever, the good girl, plays the koala because it's awesome. It's a koala. I love koalas. So yeah, that's pretty much what you can expect next week. Sorry for the really lengthy video. It's like 20 minutes long. But I guess it's, you know, as long as a regular TV show, so whatever. I hope I can upload this, though. I sure hope I can go over the 15-minute limit. If I can't, I am screwed. Anyways, guys, this is Skate Van Gore from the Kaijudo Channel, signing off. See you next week, guys.